Cutting edge guests, awesome, uncensored, jaw-dropping information, plus funny memes, good deeds, and loads of laughter. Kind of have it all. Ladies and gentlemen, if your soul's awake, then welcome, because you're in the right place. Where We Go One, We Go All Weekly is back, you divine lions and lionesses. Tonight, myself, Brad Wozni, Derek Johnson discussing the executive orders, the law of war manual, the plan to save the world, and specifically with regards to America swamp the vote, the National Guard deployed in nearly every state, as well as the open genocide and warfare upon the 14.7 million Canadians the plan just outed for the continued murder and euthanasia of Canada, yet the United States military is flying into Nigeria to protect Christians, which we're definitely all about. So what is going on there? What do we see? What's coming up? And welcome to a November to remember. Tomorrow, by the way, is the anniversary of the election of 47. We'll see you in the live chat soon. Share this with patriots everywhere. Hey, welcome back to the Sovereign Soul Show, everybody. You know, we stand for love, levity, and liberty. That's our ethos and creed. And the first time in over 3 years back on YouTube with this good man, Derek Johnson, Rattletrap 1776. And when I was last on YouTube with this and the other channels, we were down in Dallas doing the event raising awareness for child trafficking and sex trafficking with an amazing organization there. I posted a 2-minute and 17 or 2-minute and 14-second poem about Save the Children. And that was finally when YouTube banned this very channel, if you're watching on YouTube right now, completely, again, for harassment, violating their guidelines. So a lot of people are getting their channels back, which is amazing. That's part of President Trump, DJT, the Trump effect going all around, and everybody who's on our Rumble channel, welcome back. We got some familiar handles in the Rumble chat, which is awesome, with over 1,000 people viewing already, which is stellar. How you doing, my good man? You're wearing, I've got the MAGA hat with the Canadian colors, and for 51st State, Zachary Tisdale, if anybody knows that handle in Canada, posted this on X, so I just kind of give a screen grab. So thanks Jeffrey Berg and Zachary Tisdale for this one. I think it's one of the best emblems right now for the 51st day of America getting back there. And it was keeping Derek awake over the weekend, everybody, because, you know, he couldn't get to bed. He was laughing so hard. I was sharing him these memes. This one from Nurse Mel K in Fort Collins. So thanks, Mel K, if you're watching, you know you are. And yeah, tell us why that one kept you up till 2 a.m. just laughing your butt off.
One way it's sad too, in another way, because that's such an iconic American muscle car. But what's so funny is what Major Jim O'Connor said in our group text. Man, I was like, I dang near hit the floor. I was laughing so hard when he said, talking about one exhaust is in the back and the other's in the front.
Way to go, Bishop.
Man, I mean, you know, that right there, that also should show people that real, true patriot, but also real, true pastors, preachers, evangelists, whatever you want to call them, they also have a sense of humor, and they could be real human too. That's a prime example.
Great sense of humor. Yeah, they can be human, unlike these two. So again, everybody, for those on YouTube, remember, love, levity, liberty is the ethos. Levity is for good high vibration from a state of love, but also for laughter. It's the best medicine, and it really kind of breaks down barriers. And while I was away on vacation last week, President Trump blew out the climate change narrative and the Green New Energy scam because he got Bill Gates to admit, the actor playing Bill Gates 2.0, that, it was all made up. It's a lie. And this meme came up, and I'm sharing it for the first time for everybody to see here. Pretty great. So all you in the 51st state, here we go. 51st state, vote for it. That referendum is coming up very soon. And vote for independence. The Trump team completely backs Alberta. And guess what? You know, what might happen right after that, right? There's 400, I don't know if you saw this, Derek, it's $487 million or billion dollars, rather, half a trillion nearly dollars in economic output that just the province of Alberta pushes out. It's greater than 5 provinces combined in Canada, from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Ontario, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. So, great reason for MAGA to make Alberta great again and absorb them back into the Northwest Ordinance and Article 11 of 1777, November 15th, everybody. We'll get into that a little bit later because we've covered it a lot. I'm regurgitating a bit more because we're back on YouTube, and we'll see how long that lasts. So let's go over to you. How are things going? Because at the break, we've got a new song that we're going to give everybody a little bit of look-see at the new video that just came out, and everybody could jump onto it and get the song from Derek. Because how often do you have a U.S. Army veteran, a professional grifter, hanging around with President Trump, like 12, 13, 15 times at his golf courses and his private establishments, and signs a deal in Trump's chair, which Trump said, sit here and do that and sign that contract. And then turns around and you've got like 2 Billboard country musics on your own. And I said Hicks, by the way, that was pretty good. That was on purpose. If anybody caught that, country music hits instead of Hicks. But, and then now you've got like the 4th book that just came out that I ordered right when we closed our show 2 weeks ago, almost to the day. So, if anybody doesn't know Rattle Trap, you certainly got to get to know him now, especially for our YouTube audience. So what have you been up to over the last week while I've been on vacay? And sending
so I released book number 5 over that week, which is the Midnight Rider Bible, which I was tasked to do that too, it's been in the works, and I've just, you don't ever know when to release something because you're like, well, I don't want people to think that, like I'm just writing in another way. But then again, that's what the whole publicity contract was about in the first place, we have to re-educate Americans. Same thing like you're just talking about, like the Americas, right? Even the Monroe Doctrine talks about the Monroe Doctrine, 1823, all the way up to that point was talking about telling Europe, you mind your own business. The Americas, we got the Western Hemisphere, all right? And so the Americas, that would include every aspect, not just the United States of America. That would include Canada, and then, Mexico, and Central America, and South America. So, a lot of people, and that's by default in another manner that's the origin we're trying to teach. But then look at what they've been taught. And look at who hijacked it, and look at what they did, and the psyop. I mean, it's just much, right? So it's a true resetting. So that book I just wrote, I don't know of any other book out there like it, but I was asked to do a book for dummies. I mean, I said I can't do that because I realize that I do say the word dumb a lot, and ignorant and stupid and lazy and complacent. However, that's to motivate people to not be that. So what I did was took all of your military establishment, just the basics, not real heavy, just your basic knowledge of the military establishment, the Declaration, the Articles of Confederation, and left them all intact in the way they spelled things, because there's a lot of what people call misspelling today. I left everything intact that way you can see the founders and what they wrote. I took I'm going to tell you, I think it's 236 pages alone were the Federalist Papers. I put every Federalist paper in there. Every Federalist paper from 1 to 85. I took Thomas Paine's Common Sense. And ladies and gentlemen, this is another thing. What real quick about that? Thomas Paine was an atheist. He didn't believe in God. But he believed in the Republic, and he believed in a nation that was for God and the stance of freedom and liberty and prosperity. So see, there's a prime example of someone back then who didn't even believe like all the founders did, but he knew that it was a good thing for everybody as a whole, even though he didn't believe that himself. And I think those are 27 pages. So I put all these in there. I put Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. I put the whole Constitution, the original, but then I broke down Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, the Treaty of Ghent, the Treaty of Paris. I put everything, the Monroe Doctrine, all the way up, Title 10, Title 50, Title 10 versus Title 50. I did all these little things, every intricate detail that people need to know, the Communications Act, like the bigger ones, the things that are the big brawl, all in one book. It's 578 pages, no pictures. It's all text. But it was right at the Amazon. You can't put a book bigger than 580 pages. So I was right at the skim of it. But there's so much in there. I mean, I'd have to pull up. Matter of fact, I could pull up and read some of the. I will actually read the content. I'll just read them off. So, like the Revolutionary War, military establishment, common sense, Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, Treaty of Paris, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, the Bill of Rights, Marlborough versus Madison, Insurrection Act, War of 1812, Article 1, 2, and 3, the four ways military pairs are federal, Statute of 1845, which is when, where, and how we vote, the ratification process, National Security Act, Department of War, the NDAA, the White House Military Office, Emergency Alert System, Order of Successions, Executive Departments, NARA, Presidential Records Act, 20th Amendment, Title 10, Title 32, Title 50, Title 10 versus Title 50, the War Powers Act, the Law of War Manual, the National Security Strategy, National Defense Strategy, National Military Strategy, Courts Martial, Military Tribunal, Tribunal versus a Courts Martial, the DODs and the DODDIs, or DODIs, the Military Justice Act of 2016, Writ of Habeas Corpus, 1798 Aliens and Seditions Act, Martial Law, Posse Comitatus, Joint Publication 3-57, Ironclad Oath, Article 4, Section 4, Federalist Paper 10, Federalist Paper 14, Types of Warfare, Irregular Warfare, Special Operations, Unconventional Warfare, Oaths, all of our oaths since 1789, 20th Amendment, 22nd Amendment, Title 47, Section 606, which is your telecommunications, and the Gettysburg Address. All those in one book.
That's incredible. So because of the international audience, if you're cluing up here for the first time, you go to rattletrap1776.com. The link is in the chat. I just posted it 5 minutes ago in the chat. It's below the description of every video. We're streaming right now on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Rumble. Also, so you can order these books, all of Derek's stuff inside the United States. He will ship it to you and sign it. But if you're outside the USA corporate boundaries, like Canada, Australia, the UK, you can go to Amazon, and this is Derek's actual website on Amazon. All right. So you can go to Amazon.com. You go to best sellers. There's a little drop down menu. This is how you do it. Give everybody a little walkthrough here, Derek. And then you're on to Derek's page. So now you've got All About Derek, Midnight Rider, Rides Again, Kindle edition. And this is the new. So literally in the last 2 weeks, you've published two new books. Two new books. So, like 13 days ago, because we're on Tuesday, November 4th right now, and 13 days ago on Wednesday, I bought, all right, here we go. He just came out. We've got this book right here, everybody, The Deplorable Pilgrims on October 17th. And here we are now on Midnight Rider Bible, October 30th. That just came out. So go get it, get some, hang on to it, and share that. Because to me, what you just put together, that should be published in early high schools. I know you guys in the States, you separate it like sophomore, junior. I never understood that in Canada growing up. Like by the time it's grade 8, you went to high school, grade 9, all the way through OAC grade 13, which is a little crazy. But every school should have all of this in their library. Now, everyone who's patriotic, who wants some real history, especially the Midnight Rider Bible, because man, what you assembled there is a treasure chest full of absolute history, which is the formation of the greatest nation on earth of many generations, going back hundreds of years, and likely the best in thousands of years right here. So incredible, man. And kudos to you. Kudos to you. And the texts are going back and forth this weekend. Like Michelle put it in. She's like, Derek, congrats on the new book. And I'm like, Yeah. Hey, I already bought your book and the T-shirt. I'm waiting for it to come in. And I'm like, what? I'm like, like he put that out 2 weeks ago, Michelle. But I was on vacay mode. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
578 pages, man.
Yeah, this one's like 141, I think, or maybe
yeah, it's
146. So yeah, this is just for fun because of liberals, but it needed to be documented too what liberals got to, and like for the future. If you hear this rhetoric, boy, you better squash it now. If you hear this, you better squash it now. So yeah, but the other one, I mean, people wonder where I got all the knowledge I have on certain things. I'm like, well, we had to read, right? But you had to want to know that stuff. You had to want to know your history, and it's no different. Like your family lineage or whatever, you have to trace that. You have to, and then you got to know how to trace it. But we were talking about this the other day, where it's like, well, I grew up in the era when you had to go to the library, then you had to more than likely ask the librarian what aisle to even start on, and they wouldn't help you. Like some would, but some wouldn't. Some would just let you roam, and you go over there and you go to the end of that aisle, and they would have an index card. I mean, back then they had these little, I don't know what that, but it wouldn't be tape, but they had this little thing that the index card would go in, and it would have that, and you'd go, okay, blah, 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 be like all these little numbers, like grid points.
Grid coordinates in the library.
Then you go down the aisle, right? Then sometimes if you didn't remember the grid point, you had to run back, look at it again, go, where again? What shelf, what row, what line. And then you had to get the book. You pull the book out, you get in the book, and the references would be in the back. So like the Midnight Riders, I put all the references right up front where you didn't have to flip to the back, hold your place, or write a note. I put them all up as you go. And then with like the Midnight Rider Bible, it's not, those are the references that is the reference. So I wrote it to where I'm like, look, every American needs to know their basic core principles, foundation, origin, history. And then it don't say everything in there because you can't print a book that big to say everything. So it's like, these are the foundations where everybody can go and stem off from. And that's your foundation. Now go bridge off of this, but don't start over here in rabbit hole world and then try to come back to this. Once you know this, then you can do certain things. And then you can also rabbit hole. And if it don't align with that, then you can go, oh, that's not light, that's dark, or whatever it is. It's not the way. So but see, we don't have that. We haven't had that in years in schooling. And even when I was in what you were calling it, the way we do high school, even when I was in high school, I was the one teaching history class because guess whose coach the high school coach was? It was my cousin's husband, right? So he was the football coach. Well, I aced every test, and he just came to me separately. Hey, well, if you'll get up and teach this, like I could be playing, because it was the last period, so it was like 6 blocks, right? Or a period, however you want to call it. It was the 6th block end of the day, right? So he could get that extra planning in for the football game or football practice in the 6th block, right? So that's the South, especially. It may not be all over the U.S., but that's a lot of the U.S., and that's a lot of your football coaches, and a lot of your football and sports coaches are what? They're also teachers, right? So it wasn't my baseball coach. I say that wrong. My algebra teacher in high school was a baseball coach. We had 2 problems on a test. 2. And this is his theory. Now, the geometry teacher hated it. She was like, and he's like, oh, if you can do 2, you can do 100. It was literally, I swear, it was literally like we had Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights as our freaking, but he was like, if you can do 2, you can do 100. It's the same formula for all you do is swapping the numbers out. Now, by theory, he has an actually good, I mean, it's not lying.
No.
That's where people freak out with geometry and algebra and calculus. It's the same formula. All you do is just swap the numbers around. So once you learn the formula, you can put any number anywhere until you start adding certain things, like making the problem longer and doing things that may be impossible, may be possible. But he'd go, if if you can do 2, you can do 100.
I think it's great. I've got a meme for that. Here's the 18-year-olds in high school right now. 18-year-olds after 13 years government education, can't grow food, can't think for yourself, can't build a house, can't work on a car, can't raise animals, economically illiterate, historically misinformed, no idea how our bodies work, no clue about healthy nutrition. So they've got to listen to songs like Right Here, Right Now to hear about healthy nutrition. And well, that, by the way, is actually one of the top songs that Derek has produced. And the video is awesome. It really is awesome. So it reminds me of my days in Wasaga Beach and in Collingwood at high school there. I want to go to the chat and just acknowledge a couple of people here. This is awesome. So S. Peters 25 says, Professor Derek with a cowboy hat. Carabuco says, great to catch a live. We've got a whole bunch of people. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Derek, can you say that backwards now? LOL. And as Peter says, this book should be the new textbook for every kid in America, referring to the Bible, the Midnight Rider Bible. I absolutely 100% agree. Dan Ells says, always looking forward to the show. And there's others in there. And Adam McKimba says, when this start, how many minutes ago? 6 p.m. Eastern. It was advertised for about 8 hours. So we're 24 minutes into the show. So you'll catch that back up. But nice to have you in here as well, Ab McKimba. And he says, LOL. So that's great. So again, what we just shared, and excuse me, take that off. This should be, I highly agree. And hopefully the new Department of Education in each state can allocate funds to acquiring for their libraries and public libraries, at minimum, the Midnight Rider Bible that Derek just published. So what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to order on Amazon, and I'll order directly from you, brother. And by the way, everybody, yeah, we're friends. This is all about supporting each other. Plus, these are pieces of history, right? And so I'm going to order from your website and deliver it to one of the people that we know signed, but I'm also going to order it on Amazon. And then I'm going to put my review on Amazon too. So I'd encourage everybody, do the same, show your support, right? The very first Midnight Rider one has 1,046 nearly 5-star ratings, got 111, nearly 5-star for Midnight Rider 2, Royal Flush of Country Music, 112. And then we've got 5-star ratings on Deplorable Pilgrims, which just came out on October 17th. So yeah, right there. Once again, you go to Amazon.com. Anywhere in the world that you have Amazon, you look for Derek Johnson as an author. This is Derek's actual website for all of his books. So help him continue to make this 5th book, 2 published in 2 weeks, a #1 bestseller as well. So, and then rattletrap1776.com, link on the screen, link in front of you. I mean, it's fun. Every now and then we get people asking us like, could you post the link for wherever I assume they have that voice, by the way, in their head when we read their comments, like, hey, where we get Derek's stuff? Like it's on his freaking screen. Wake up and like you can't just help stupid sometimes.
Well,
in that context.
It could be someone older and they got,
we still
fat,
old
thumbs.
Yeah. It's always in
like
the description. Always in the description. It's scrolling on the screen. It's on his screen. It's all there. So let's continue about Swamp the Vote and all of the rest. We're going to discuss here in that last little bit. So DJT's been pretty active now in the last week. He was in China. And he's celebrating a new China deal, and Secretary Hegseth, Department of War, celebrating a closer relationship with his Chinese counterpart in the military, and establishing some kind of like the red phone comms back in the Reagan days. Remember, the Cold War days, they had the red phone, the Kremlin, and
the red phone. I remember that bad boy.
Yeah, directly from Reagan to McHale. Hey Gorby, how are you? We didn't really push the button. That's a false alarm. So. Which did happen in 1977, which is a little scary, prior to Reagan's time, of course. But what do you see that took place, updating it from your side in the middle of you staying awake every night, laughing at all the memes I'm sending you, where you can't sleep, and taking care of your mother, by the way. Derek was taking care of Mama last week, which was really awesome. So what do you see that was going on with President Trump then and then now where we are? Because I've got 2 clips to play of President Trump, which I think will get everybody excited after you answer this.
We're talking about President Trump win again?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about before what?
Well, just over the last week.
Oh, in the last week? Oh, well.
You bear witness tying into his executive orders.
It's just so, I mean, this is what I wish sometimes, and now not the patriots in the comment box, because we know they're full patriots, you know, but we're talking about maybe the sitting on the fence all the way up to the fully asleep. You know, it's like, that's when I wish I just take a USB cord, my brain, your brain, the colonels, the general, et cetera, and just poop, and then hope that they would appreciate and respect it afterwards, right? And then bring everybody up. But it's not that way, as we all know. And I know people do get tired of hearing you got to show them, but you do. It's just where we are in life. Same thing with your moms, dads, whoever raised you out there. If you had a good parent, whoever they were, godparent, even whatever, if you had a good one, then they taught you. All right. And it's like President Trump said in his 1992 interview that I've been posting, where he said, you know, sometimes you just got to sit back. So sometimes you don't have the answer right now, and you just got to wait and you let it play out. And it's a good lesson. Every aspect of it's such a good lesson, history lesson, and also discipline lesson for Americans that, look, in reality, it's your fault. But we can't just say, oh, Brad or Susie, or we can't do that. But it is Americans' fault that it got this way. Now, it was predominantly long before mine and your time, long before it, and long before anybody living, walking, breathing. It was the 1870s to that 1913 that was the heaviest stretch that President Trump's been alluded to, which we know, the Organic Acts, and then your Federal Reserve, your income tax, and then move up to your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, heavy. 1990 is when the term United States Federal Corporation was put into Title 28, Section 3002. So President Trump just alluded to in his video with which one was it? I think it was Nora, possibly, but he specifically said, if all presidents before me would have known what they were doing business-wise.
Yep.
I mean,
plural presidents.
That's all past presidents.
Yep.
That's president, like I said, plural. So that's including even Ronald Reagan. I mean, that's including, he said presidents. He didn't exclude out, or he didn't include which ones. He said presidents, all past tense. If they were businessmen, we wouldn't have been here at any point in history. That shows you that the whole thing was a design for them. Yes, there were some good ones that got in there, but they couldn't overcome that swamp. All right. And now we all know who some of those are. Some people don't. The Republicans, conservatives that are asleep don't have a clue. They think they're all good. They thought all of them were good, that if they were Republican, and the Democrats thought they were all good. But we all know that. So President Trump, all this is so scripted, though. That's the part I'm talking about, uploading and downloading. It's that every aspect of this, once you know the blueprint with like the back of your eyelids, it's almost cringe in another way, because it's so obvious that this is so scripted. The shutdown. I mean, every aspect. They're getting Mike Johnson up there. They're wasting 38 minutes on which I say wasting, for the patriots. They're wasting for the target audience. They think it's real. So, but to us, they're wasting 38 minutes. When all you got to do is get up there and say, well, they couldn't say this, but we'd say it like this. Yeah, so it's the Democrats' fault. They shut it down. They're wanting to add this to the bill. That's not part of the bill. That's it. They don't have to say anything else. They spend 38 minutes going, well, you know, in history and this and this and that. All distraction pieces for the target audience. Mm-hmm. All right, but President Trump's, even his with Nora, she's 5'7". She's wearing 4-inch heels that still don't make you 6'3". All right, I mean, The little things like that, and then you'll have the Republicans, as we know, the Republicans, the conservatives asleep. What do? Well, President Trump's getting older. He's shrinking. No, he's not. That ain't how it works in the first place. And if he was shrinking, he would be drawn over. You don't just lose all of a sudden your spines like God goes, okay, well, you don't need this 3 inches of your spine here, so just going to remove this for you, condense you down, Brad. That's the stuff that blows your mind about the average audience out there. I mean, I've shown this over and over on my pages because I'm sitting there always getting the heights and that. And here you go, people. There's no way. So those things are so cringe in another way because it's just part of the operation. But then when you get stuff like policies and rules or procedures, not even laws and orders, but just your straight up policies and things of that nature, it's obvious what's going on with the continuing resolution. And so President Trump flying to Asia, that's a direct, easy one there. All right. Every one of these bills or whatever you want to call it, but everything is funded the year before. Right. And so the fiscal year ends on September the 30th, and then it starts on October the 1st. So they need a continuing resolution. It's a continuing resolution from back here. Well,
let me add one thing to that, right? So how Canada comes in with all of this narrative is the stolen election, or is the election interference, rather.
That's the best part going on right now.
Isn't that great? They're waking up. Scott Besson is on CNN last week, right? We have Canadians here in the chat, which is awesome too. Ontario, Canada, saw that. Fantastic. Scott Besson on CNN is talking about the $75 million US marketing ad that Carney and Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, which now is exposed for death dens and more euthanasia and midazolam, everything, right? Full on Satan. And they want 12-year-olds to get made. They started publishing books in school. So instead of Midnight Rider, they're putting books in schools for kids as young as 6 with cartoon colors on getting made. Suicide, euthanasia. You don't feel well, you were played on, go over to the hospital without your parents' consent, verbal consent as a 6-year-old, right?
But here's what they're showing.
Buy cigarettes, but yeah, they use that for election interference. And
really fast, though.
Foreign election interference.
Let me interject, though.
Awesome.
Let me interject, though, on that note while you're saying that. Well, I think about it. 70 million. Think about that.
75.
Just for one commercial, 75. Well, what they're showing, especially patriots, that to add to your collection when you're telling your friends and family, the ones that are listening to you, what they're also doing is the bigger players have been taken out, right? Now your real audience, the target audience, won't know that, but but the ones that are listening a little bit, so those have been taken out. These are the lower levels still, though. Some are actors and actresses, but some are still, looking apart for a reason. That 75 million will be intercepted, so it's still dirty money being accepted by who did the advertisement. So, like right now, the election stuff in California, it's all on .gov sites. Well, if President Trump is in charge of the government, all right, if he's a true president, like the real target audience believes, then he also knows what's on government sites, right? Because it still all correlates together. All right. So all this stuff interconnects, even though California is not Canada, but it all interconnects because of what? The election interference executive order is still open, the 13848, it's still active. And then President Trump just continued it back in September. So that means it's thought of still. It wasn't signed and put away and forgotten about. It was continued again. So it's still being enforced. All right. And a lot of people, today, my emails and everything's blown up about the yes on 50. Some are going, am I correct on this? Am I tracking? The others are frantic. And I'm like, well, if you're following me, especially, then you're not been listening to me, because that's one of the key ones I've talked about that absolutely proves why would quote unquote Joe, Kamala, Obama, if you thought he was pulling the strings back there, why would they continue that executive order if President Trump? The other thing, Nancy Pelosi, I've got her video and I'm about to break it down. It's only 11 minutes long, but Nancy Pelosi was on a little whatever you'll call it, not a podcast, but an interview. And she was asked about what's going on. And she said, this is all, the Congress is scared of Donald Trump. And it's all Donald Trump's fault. Listen to what we're saying, right? Since when did any other Republican president control all of Congress? See, that's the part that people are not listening to. And that's the part we're trying to get them to think. Listen to what she's saying. All of a sudden, the Democrats in Congress are scared of President Trump. That they were never scared before. So see, but if they're scared, then why aren't they capitulating and voting with the Republicans, right? This quote unquote continuing resolution. President Trump's told you we only need 5 Democrats to come over on the other side and vote. So if they were scared, wouldn't they capitulate? So see, they show people in all kinds of ways. So this like it's trying to teach people, look, don't be scared to think. Yeah, I don't beat people up for thinking. I beat people up because they say this is stupid and hogwash and bullshit. No, that's where there's a difference. Thinking differently and going away. Okay, so she just said that the Democrats are scared. Since when did any other Congress, period, don't even use Republican, Democrat, just Congress. Since when did any other Congress get puppeteered by a president?
Yep.
Right? Congress acts on their own. They're the legislative branch. And then you got the president, the executive branch. They're supposed to work together. So that's the true part. But think about what she's saying. It's like getting people to think about that. So if you're out there and you got friends and family who will listen to you, that's what you do. That's the first thing to talk about this week. 2, they put Pelosi in a position. It's not her, but we know that. But still, the people who think it is. She goes, they said, well, don't you think that this is cheating? This is actually, aren't you actually rigging to do what you're saying that the Republicans did? Why can't you beat Trump on his own ground? She said, I already talked about that. We talked about that on the show. We've already covered that way back. And I said, well, integrity would be beating someone on their own ground. You would, if you're saying that Texas was redistricting and that's rigging, you don't go do the same thing. And she alluded that. She said, I know 2 wrongs don't make a right, but this is different. See, bingo. The election interference executive order is still open. This is all still adding to the disclosure. And President Trump's interview, same thing with Honora. He said, and by the way, we got to get to the bottom of this. He was like 2020. So he said they're building the stage for everybody. It's building. Obama's talking massive crap again. He's posting more than he's ever posted. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Come on, people. Like, look at me. I love posting a lot, but I try not to give too many people too much stuff because it overwhelms you. But like, I'm free. You're free. We can pick up our phones any moment. Do it. Where was Obama from 2021 to 2025? That's when, if that would have been real, that's when the fight would have been really on to go, man, we got to change everything while we can by Trump. We got to abolish this, terminate this, rewrite this. They didn't do it, people. And if Joe was president, he would have had the same authority and power as every other president. And there wouldn't have been anything we could have done except for an insurrection, a real insurrection. That would have been our last. And Marquis de Lafayette, one of our French founders, I actually have French blood in me too, but one of our French founders back then, he said insurrection is one of the last lines of defense of a patriotic nation. All right. So see, look at how the Democrats view an insurrection. It's because they don't even know what they're fighting for. They don't even know what nation they're in. They put democracy and constitution in the same sentence. We're not a democracy. So see all this stuff. So I try to tell people now, there's not as many of them as it sounds like. They bark loud, they sound bigger, but it's kind of like when blood hits water. So one drop, the whole bowl is red, but it was just one drop. So if you look at it, no, it was just one drop. It'd be different if it was like gushing. All right. Unlike Charlie Kirk, right? So anyway.
Well said. Well said on that one. So I've got 2 videos of President Trump going to play here in a moment. And before we do that, in the chat, Bud33 says, Santa is bringing me the Midnight Bible. Can't wait. I'm excited. And Ross Marie C goes, thumbs up to you, Bud. A lot of other great.
The question is he his own Santa?
Yeah, exactly. We did
Yeah,
have a
hey.
question from somebody earlier who said, "Hey, I'm
Let's
still
go there.
waiting for my 2 books to be signed." That was from CH Buches. So if somebody ordered and they're waiting, again, there's no it's hard to get context on a couple of words in a chat. But should they just email maybe the Shopify? Because I know you do a tracking link. If it's at rattletrap1776.com, it means you've ordered from there. It'll be signed personally by Derek. So it's Shopify. So they should just reply to the Shopify.
It depends on when they ordered. But we do have a 2 to 3 week turnaround sometimes.
Yeah.
We made the Midnight Rider Bible a pre-order with the Deplorable Pilgrims. We didn't, and so we ran out. We sold more of these when I thought. Well, we don't never know. Right? You don't know that. So
sure.
We ran out of those pretty early, so I've got a rush order. My company that prints these are pretty good now with me because I'm one of their top, obviously, customers. Cool. So they put rushes. So it depends on when they order, but there can be cases where, yes, there's delays. USPS and UPS are still having issues because of what they did with the mail-in ballots, and President Trump had to hammer them. So we got trucks down in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana that FedEx. Now, FedEx don't pick any of my packages up, but just for Seiko, they're driving around in budget rental vehicles because they got hammered so hard. They don't even have FedEx trucks. So, but I say all that to say is that there are some hiccups along the way sometimes because of what has been transpiring. But we typically use USPS because that's what's close to here. Whenever my dad does all my packaging and labeling and shipping.
Family business. Great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. But the other thing we've been experiencing as well, and this could be the case, it could be something lost in transit. We have had what it's looking like, some libtards out there on the route that are actually working for USPS that are slitting these and removing the books. So we've had a couple of those where it looks like tampering.
Antifa tampering. And if you tamper with the mail, it's a federal criminal offense, like
that's right.
10 years in jail. So let them put themselves out there, into the spotlight, right? We just saw with Cash and his girlfriend.
Well, that's what I told everybody. If I tell everybody that when that happens, if they email us and they show us that happen, I say you need to call USPS and report it. Yep. And then that way it's in their system. They do take care of it.
They have a criminal investigation arm at USPS.
I've already gone through it.
The same. Yep.
I've talked to the head of the whole state of Alabama, and they've already punished one local post office that didn't want to take our books. They're lazy.
Post office didn't want to take the books?
Yeah. They complained that we brought more than 2 boxes of books. Was one of our boxes a whole 25 books. So 50
I'm busy eating,
and all you gotta do,
shaving my back hair, right, and eating my.
All you gotta do is scan in that freaking label right there. All they gotta do is just scan it. I print all they're not printing the labels for me. I print all my labels. So all they got to do is scan in. That's how lazy they are, man.
They didn't even get through that 13 years of government education then to scan a label, right? Because they're just opening up cans of spam, and that's about it, and sucking their Slurpee, I imagine. All right, so 2 videos. Commander-in-Chief Trump. We are on, remember, the 1-year anniversary of the greatest election of recent U.S. history of the nation, corporation, and the republic. Both. Here is President Trump. Now, these videos are from January, the night before the inauguration. Because it's November 4th, and what happens tomorrow, November 5th, 1-year anniversary of that amazing. We were praying Major General Valley. By the way, Major General Valley and likely Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney retired. We'll be back here on Friday, everybody. So stick around for all the announcements. Here is President Trump, what he said at the rally the night before his inauguration of this year.
Step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents, and in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam. And I will direct our military to begin construction of the Great Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will all be made in the USA. And we will get wokeness the hell out of our military immediately and make it like it used to be.
All right. So promises made, promises kept just over 9 years ago. And then here is the second clip from that speech. I want to share. It's about 1 minute, 22 seconds. Enjoy, everybody.
Tomorrow at noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride. Bringing it all back. Once and for all, we're going to end the reign of a failed and corrupt political establishment in Washington, a failed administration. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stop the invasion of our borders. We're going to reclaim our wealth. We're going to unlock the liquid gold that's right under our feet, liquid gold. We're going to bring back law and order to our cities. We're going to restore patriotism to our schools, get radical left, woke ideologies the hell out of our military and out of our government. And we are going to make America great again.
Man, I really wish I was there live for that one. It was incredible and so intense, just amazing. Promise, 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 made, kept, made, kept, made, kept, made, kept, made, and kept. So anybody in Alberta, making Alberta great again, they want to see you vote as a result of this. Remember, Juan O'Savin called me on December 26th last year. We chatted for an hour and 20 minutes. And he said, we are welcoming Canada back into America, Australia, going to take Australia, New Zealand, and Greenland. And here it is. The welcome is by your vote. They want to see you actually get out there, referendum, separation, independence. And as Jeffrey Rath and Keith Wilson said at the largest, so Derek, the numbers don't sound much to you as in America, right? Because 1/10 of the population of Canada to the US, roughly 380 million in America, 38-ish in Canada. And as we found out 10 years ago, holy cow, 36.8% of Canada's population has all been imported in the last 10 years. So really, you might have around 20-ish million voters. Well, over 20,000 people showed up at a rally in Edmonton, Alberta, 2 weeks ago Saturday for referendum, and not a single one of the lamestream covered it. Biggest rally, just like the Freedom Convoy, right? Small fringe minority. So 20,000 to rally for independence for that province, my province, to also become the 51st state voted by everybody. So that's coming up. And we're a little bit over time when I was going to go to your Christmas video. And I know you're trying to squirm in a seat and talk about, look, Trump validation, but I think everybody needs to tune into your new video. I mean,
let's hear it.
This guy just dropped a new song in the middle of publishing 2 books. And the person who said that, where are my 2 books I ordered, I wanted signed, wrote into the chat, oh, I ordered Midnight Rider 1 and 2 a week ago. Like, okay.
Oh, that just
oh my gosh, it's
out.
I just printed that blowing up. Like,
I just printed the label.
I signed books in 7 days.
I bet you I know their name right here. I got them right here. Just printed them out.
The handle here on Rumble. Like, my goodness, I know you're hungry for it, but man,
no, that's all right.
Take a zero. Take a zero in, because that'll drop your cortisol. That gets you into focus and flow state. That kicks in your testosterone. The link's in the description. GetRenown.com. Take a zero in. It's awesome. It was originally designed for women with menopause. Dr. Christine Robin then found that it gets athletes in the flow state. and we have like over 400%. Like Spec Op Warriors are shooting 400% better.
Well, we have a pretty good chance here that his name is Bruce, because I have two Bruces. Two different
Bruces. Midnight Rider 1 and
Casey,
2 a week ago.
Casey, Randy, and then two Bruces.
BOOCHIS is the handle in Rumble saying I ordered it a week ago.
Oh well, it's about to be
and
on
put
the way.
it in all caps. They put it in all caps in the beginning of the chat. Where's my order? Like, wow.
Let's see.
When you're in all caps, you are yelling and screaming. So
all right,
let's get back. Well, let's go to your song. We got a lot. We've got a couple of hundred people watching live here. Let's go to the song. So released. Tell everybody about this song real quick, because they don't know what it is, and we've been hiding.
Oh yeah, so I wrote it's so hard to write a Christmas song, first off, and you got to write them. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to put them out by Christmas, you got to write them in, the springtime, which is so hard to do. Two, I'm gonna tell you what, when you're
that's how we shot Hallmark movies, by the way. When we did Hallmark movies. Spring and summertime, you're shooting all the movies so that they can come out.
I'm bragging a little, but once you have Billboard hits and you know the formula of writing a great song, a good song, it's even hard then to get all the old traditional Christmas sounds out of your head and write a song and still have a Christmas feeling, but also the Christmas lyrics. It's hard. I always heard that from hit writers, man. It's hard to write a Christmas song because you'll get the jingles and all the. Well, I wrote this one, and I'm like, this is this is my way of putting humor in. It's true, but it can be a true song, and I just love talking about writing music, because the first line in it was about you don't want to. This is how I teach people how to write. It's I didn't want to hear you fuss. I didn't want to make you fuss. Well, I'm not being a condescending guy, so I put "make you fuss" in it. So it's women will get it, and it's just a cute song with couples or married couples, whatever kind. It's just a funny song, but it's typically truthful, because guys, we're like, whatever. You want me to wear the sweater? Freaking give it to me. But I better get this, and I better get this, so you'll hear it.
Get her done. So here it is. Debuting right now for the first time on Where We Go One, We Go All Weekly, Derek's brand new Christmas song. Enjoy it, everybody. I'm going to play it here. It's called About to Be, and here it is on YouTube.
I wore that Christmas sweater for the family card and stuff. I'd have worn my go-to burly bow tee, but I didn't want to make you fuss. And I ate those sugar-free cookies that tasted like turpentine. Yeah, I done checked off all of your wishes, and later on I'm getting mine. 'Cause I'm about to wipe my name right off Santa's nice list. I guess I'll have to wait till next year, but I doubt I'll even make it then. Oh, you better be ready for the gift I got, 'cause it ain't under the tree. No, I ain't been naughty all week, but I'm about to be.
That's a great line. Great line.
This is your favorite season, and you love to entertain. And when you get done with all of your caroling, by bedtime you're already drained. So I play it cool just for you, but later on when the lights go out, the only thing that better be stirring better not be that daggum mouse. 'Cause I'm about to wipe my name right off Santa's nice list. I guess I'll have to wait till next year, but I doubt I'll even make it then. Oh, you better be ready for the gift I got, 'cause it ain't under the tree. No, I ain't been naughty all week, but I'm about to be.
That's a spin-off. Oh, man, that's great.
Well, do you hear what I hear? That ain't Rudolph and his reindeer. That's me decking the halls, 'cause the house will be rocking all night. 'Cause I'm about to wipe my name right off Santa's nice list. I guess I'll have to wait till next year, but I doubt I'll even make it then. Oh, you better be ready for the gift I got, 'cause it ain't under the tree. No, I ain't been naughty all week, but I'm about to be. No, I ain't been naughty all week, but I'm about to be.
Oh, man, that is awesome. What a great send-off. That is a fantastic send-off. I like that. You know, I'm about to be.
Solo rider. I try to tell everybody, I'm like, man, if people understood the real rigging of country music is in the writers. You know, Morgan Wallen don't write any of his like big hits. If he is, it's like 5 or 6 in the same room. And I'm like, you know, but anyway, that's why I just keep trying to put out more and more and more solo writes. I do have some co-writes with like Jeffrey Steele and Casey Beathard, #1 hit writers, Patriots as well. But other than that, like I was hoping everybody heard that in the bridge, because I don't know how many people listen to you know, like Christmas music anymore. Listen truly, but remember the do you hear? Remember the do you hear what I hear? What I hear? Remember that? So,
yeah, absolutely.
It's all that.
Yeah. Echoes,
yeah. So that's just like it is. It's hard to write a Christmas song.
He's done some great remakes of them too. You know, like Christmas, get into it. I mean, regardless of what, you know, Christmas meant to be, you know, it's still about the spirit and the holiday times and the community, right? And what a great break too, when you look at a 12-month calendar year, and you're going, we got Memorial Day weekend, or, you know, Victoria Day in Canada, and then you have, you know, the July long weekend, and then you're kind of like, Labor Day weekend, but really something to get you around is Thanksgiving.
Well, it's that spirit.
New Year's, that holiday.
It's right here. Yeah, it's all right here. I can feel it every year. Like right now, before Thanksgiving, I feel that spirit. And I tell people, what man meant for evil, God can make for good. Like you know, there's things that sure by origin it could have been bad, but we can make it good. But man, Christmas time for me, man. I mean, I'm like, I love like finding some random kid that don't have a you know, like a basketball goal or something like that, or something. Whatever it may be, it just like not even seeing the parents, whatever, just dropping it off like at their house or something, and not even them knowing about it. Like that, it's more of that. And then food, the food, man. My family, they know how to cook some doggone Christmas food, and so I get mad when I don't get invited to like the family things, because all I'm there for is my family and food and the conversations you have. You know, that spirit, man. It's just how people can't feel that. And that's what we got. That's that light, though, that we're talking about, the light overshining the darkness. Getting back to this right here, and, you know, fellowship is really probably the right word for it. But that's what I feel around Christmas and even Thanksgiving. I feel that's like right now, it's kind of about 55 degrees in the south, you know, 50 to 55. It's chilly, but it's not cold. And someone was burning a fire today, and that smell of wood. I was like, yes, like this is cooking fire. That, you know, and that's this time of the year where it's just like, man, I just sit outside all day and just, you know, thank God for the, you know, blue sky and the stars at night, whatever it may be. I don't know, man. It's hard to. I love life. That's why I tell you better be glad we do have a time limit, because, you know, if God gave me 2,000 years, I would enjoy the life, and I would enjoy if we had more liberals still.
we're definitely going for another couple hundred
Yeah.
years. I mean, if they can do this in Canada, which is everybody FYI, this is, just 2 days ago published, Canada quietly clears cloned meat to be sold. This is in Manitoba, right? Where clonade existed for human beings. And so make sure whatever meat you're buying, and again, Health Canada has lifted the long-standing restrictions on cloned cattle and swine products. So they were going to murder sheep, murder ostriches, take over your land, but cloning cattle and sheep are okay. So right there's your sign, right? If we had Larry the Cable Guy here, there's your sign, right?
Well, what are you putting in it, right?
Satanic. Yeah, 100%.
Like you want to kill actual real farm grass-fed animals, but you want to feed us the clone ones. So yeah,
with the Bill Gates products and everything. So one thing on Canada too, everybody. I remember I've got about 10 minutes to go here because then I have to jump onto a Zoom call. So just a heads up for everyone as well too. Is that in 2022 October? All right, the year 2022 in October, and it happened to be on the 22nd of October. Vancouver City Council in British Columbia signed off on UNDRIP so that the entire province of BC, by those city councilors, political leaders, and some of the bands, had signed over their rights and territories to UNDRIP. And I remember in 2024, I let everybody know on the show here, I said, just so you know, I know property owners in British Columbia who have received notices from their towns or city council that they'll need to vacate their land because they're doing two things. One, hey, if we see you, this is 2024, if we see you and you have room in your home, we're going to house refugees in your home. And if you disapprove of it, you go to prison. And the other one was, and people got these letters and they showed them to me and I brought it out on the show. And the other one was, hey, your land is on unceded territory that's acknowledged. So guess what? Your home is going to be repossessed. You'll be kicked off your land because it goes back to the original tribes. And I had a few people comment and like, well, I live in British Columbia and this never happened. And I didn't see this. And where is this? And it's only in such and such. And if anybody missed the month of October, what happened in the lower land of British Columbia and Richmond, BC, and just outside of Surrey, guess what? The provincial government ruled the Cowichan tribe and gave the land back to the Cowichan tribe, and people are being evicted from their homes. And mortgages are being canceled. And now the Cowichan tribe, there are certain people, not all of them, who are celebrating this as a win. The provincial government of British Columbia came to them and went, well, yes, it was unceded territory. Yes, we are the colonists. Yes, we gave it back to you. And I mean, like, there's a silver line in the cloud here, but this is crazy. You just can't make this up. This was just reported 3 days ago. And the provincial government was like, here's your land back. And they're like, thank you. Yeah, get them all off the house. Or a couple of them said that, right? Get them out of there. Get out of their house. We're taking it back. And like, this thing's like a couple 8 or 9 square kilometers long. And this is prime. Amazon has headquarters, has a distribution center there. Walmart, like it's great kind of industrial area and suburbs. So guess what happened? The provincial government goes, great, here's your land. Now you owe us the taxes on the transfer of it. Oh, we can't pay. What did the government just say? Oh, well, if you can't pay the taxes on the land that we're gifting back to you, we own it now. You get off our land. All that happened in the last 4 weeks. Wow. So, hello, everyone. Make America Great Again is for the entire continent.
So you're saying Canada's already the United States of America? Because that sounded a lot like the Third Amendment.
Yeah, doesn't it? Third Amendment? And you know what?
It kind of sounded like the Third Amendment.
An article in America's first Constitution about that, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
maybe. Maybe. How many times have we shown it?
It sounded a lot like the Third Amendment that prohibits the government from forcing private citizens to house soldiers in their homes. So it sounds a lot like that in another manner.
Oh,
It's
doesn't it? Doesn't it? I think we need to go to David Stray right now. Don't you think so? I think we should play David Stray.
That's like,
yeah. Here we go.
yeah,
All right, buddy. David Stray to drop the hammer on this one. This is the mic drop. David Stray, God rest his soul. Here it is.
Article 9 says Canada acceding to this confederation and joining in the measures of the United States shall be admitted into and entitled to all the advantages of this union. But no other colony shall be admitted into the same unless such admission is to be agreed upon by at least 9 states. So right there in the Articles of Confederation.
Yep.
Canada is part of the United States. Don't let them tell you any differently.
And then the Monroe Doctrine. I mean, the Americas.
Yeah. Right. The Americas, all of America. So the entire continent is what we're referring to, right? Sovereignty, freedom, peace, prosperity. Full sovereignty, freedom, peace, prosperity, adhering to certain laws and orders, which are very much resemble, just in the last couple thousand years, the 10 Commandments. And then when you look at certain doctrine from indigenous peoples going back 15 and 30,000 years in the Americas as well, in certain areas, it's the same. Isn't it amazing? And Trump keeps talking about restoring the Constitutional Republic, and all these other things, Aliens Act, all like back into the 1700s. Wow, amazing. Yeah, including Philadelphia Mint and metallurgism and all that good stuff. But we'll touch base on all that for the next few weeks as we go on.
All they show us how they divided and conquered. You know what I mean? Because it's the same thing with the Soviet Union and knowing about the Belarus and
Khazarian Mafia,
and Estonia, etc.
Divide and conquer. Even political parties divide and conquer. So now we see the destruction of the Democrat Party and nothing else to come up in that. And again, that's all just destruction. You just want
same thing like Yugoslavia and Czechia, like they,
Republic,
hey, I mean, it's cool. You want to change names? That's cool. We can change names, but that's why President Trump even he does troll with some things just because of the part of it, like the Gulf of America. It's like, oh, you guys want to? Oh, it's the Gulf of Mexico. Well, wasn't it Yugoslavia? Wasn't it? Wasn't Canada in the Articles of Confederation? Like, okay, well, you want to split hairs? We can split them over here too. Let's go.
Yeah. Continental Army.
Yeah. So
Continental Army.
Continent. That's right.
Continental. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're the 2nd Canadian Regiment fought in the Continental Army against the British. Yeah, fun fact. Awesome, man. Well, this has been wonderful. Great to reconnect with you. We have a lot of people in the chat saying thank you so much here as well. So wonderful, guys and gals. Now, since we're today, November 4th, restored on YouTube, doesn't mean we might be here for a long time. However, on Rumble, just remind the audience, unlike YouTube, Rumble cancels the live chat after this show ends. So if you have anything you want to share with myself, Derek, or other people, acknowledgments, praise, glory, and also, you can send us zingers too. That's fine. Just post it over in Rumble on the comment section rather than the live chat. And of course, we feel that a lot of this information is great for waking up people, target audience as well. So please feel free to share this, get it out there too. Derek at rattletrap1776.com. Those are the links to everything that's actually of Derek rather than rip-off artists, unfortunately, that are out there. And you can go over to Amazon. Once again, for those who are outside the boundaries of the USA, incorporated corporate boundaries, and on Amazon.com, plug in Derek's name. Pretty simple. There it is. Take a screenshot. It's right here. The link's below the description again. And then you can get access to all of his books, including the Midnight Rider Bible. And please allow 2 to 3 weeks for delivery. I guess we'll start saying that now, like the fellow that Bruce, might have been Bruce, who knows.
Well, once I get new books in and in inventory, normally we don't have that issue.
Then Derek's going to sign it, and he and his dad actually package it up and mail it out to everybody in the States. So, and God bless your dad for being of service, and your mother as well of service. And thank you all for being here. Really appreciate that. I did mention yesterday on the show, when I did the 3i Atlas show, I spent 2 days researching all that. So it's not something like just wing it type of thing. And I've told people about the $7,000 ounce gold show that I would be pulling together. And again, like Derek with the writing, both singing, songwriting, as well as researching Law and Orders, that's what I did in-depth research for my movies, my TV shows that I put together in development, pitch packages as well, right? And again, I'm a solo screenwriter, solo producer, unsigned, option to a major Hollywood studio, not once, but twice. Like they say, came out of nowhere, didn't go through the system in 4 years of screenwriting school or anything like that. And it's because I like to do a deep dive on certain things and pull together that knowledge with some of my own and experiences, and then share it for everybody to make informed decisions based on the black and the white. So I am still pulling together the final aspects of the $8,000 an ounce gold show. And then also when it's anticipated to reach $8,000 an ounce. So I know I'm talking to people on YouTube who haven't seen this before too. It's an hour and 11 minutes, 111. That's great. Sign from Archangels. But that is due to come, and hopefully I'll have that pumped out over the next week, because gold is going to 8,000 an ounce, and it's likely just going to be in the next months. But I'll give you all the data to that, make your informed decision. And until then, we'll be back on a regular schedule. Wednesdays, where we go all Wednesdays. So stick to it. We'll see you all then. Thanks, brother.
We'll see you soon, everybody.
All right. See you all soon, too. Bye-bye. All right, you sovereign souls. Now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver if you already have not. And if you are and you have a chance to do so, I highly encourage to do so even more, because gold and silver will launch the golden age, which Commander-in-Chief Trump has continuously referenced.
The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. This was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Get some if you can. BuddhaLovesGold.com will take you to our partner Goldco. They have over 6,000 5-star reviews. This is why now is the time to buy gold and silver, because we have thousands of Americans buying gold today. The rising inflation has reduced our purchasing power. Dysfunctional politics don't work for us. The US dollar has lost over 97% of its value since 1913, while the price of gold has increased over 9,000%. Silver has fared well against the dollar too, with the silver price increasing over 4,500% since 1913. It's about wealth protection. Physical precious metals act as a hedge against dips in volatile markets. Go over to BuddhaLovesGold.com. That's www.BUDDHA, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You will download your free silver and gold guide today, and our great people over there at Goldco will take care of you. That's BuddhaLovesGold.com. You'll see a picture of me right on there, Brad Wozni. And once again, BRICS is the new financial system. Asset-backed precious metals is the way of the future. This is about financial control. Diversifying your assets with gold and silver puts you in control of your wealth at BuddhaLovesGold.com.